Howdy folks, I'm an imaginative, iconic indigo impala icing iodized icicles.
I'm Amber.
And here are more iodized crystals for us, or icicles for us to ice. That was a pretty big failure, if I say so myself. These last few ones, they've all been courtesy of Amber, so I can't take credit for the tongue twisters. Speaking of starting off on not such a good foot, our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for embarrassing my girlfriend in front of her family when they came over for dinner?" And at least I can say that I didn't fumble as well as the girlfriend did. My girlfriend Amy is a 29-year-old female, and I'm a 30-year-old male. And we've been living together for a few months. She's not that great of a cook, but it's something that I enjoy, so I do most of the cooking in the house. Amy's parents live in a different city and came to visit last week. First time in our new apartment. I spent a lot of time making a nice dinner for us, including baked Alaska for dessert. I made my own ice cream for it, and her sister also came over with her family. Throughout dinner, Amy kept making comments like, "Let me know if you like it," and "I don't know how it's going to be." I was kind of annoyed because she didn't make any of it, but whatever. Near the end of the night, her parents said that they really enjoyed the food, especially the baked Alaska. Before I could say anything, Amy cut in and said something along the lines of, "I hoped it would turn out good." I asked OP what he thought of it, but of course he can't even taste the difference between store-bought and homemade. She laughed, and her sister rolled her eyes and said, "The things we have to put up with," jokingly. At this point, I was really annoyed that everyone was making fun of me for supposedly not knowing anything about how to cook, when I'm the one who made it all. I also laughed and I asked Amy, "Hey, I'm sure your sister would love the recipe to the baked Alaska. Why don't you tell them how you made it as well?" Amy told me in the past that her sister likes desserts, so she and her mom both started asking her to teach them and give them the recipe. Amy said that she would text it to them later. I insisted and said that she could send the full recipe later, just to tell us the basic now of how she made it. I'd also love to know. She got pretty flustered and said something about the recipe and how she got it from a friend, and since everyone was about to leave, so the conversation didn't really go any further. Afterwards, she got really mad at me and said that she was just making a joke and that I embarrassed her in front of her family. I said that she totally discredited me and put me down. It's been pretty tense between us for the past few days because of this, and she's saying that I need to apologize. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. She literally tried to steal your hard work and pass it off as her own. The only person who embarrassed her is herself.
Well, and then on top of that, she was trying to embarrass OP, right?
Yeah.
So it's alright for her to embarrass him, but suddenly when he embarrasses her, it becomes a problem.
And by embarrassing, he's only trying to get her to admit that she didn't know a thing about how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's really gross. And like, do you really want to be in a relationship with someone who is going to take your work and pass it off as their own? Like, what would possess her to do that? I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems really odd because it's not like her parents would know that this is the first time you're meeting her parents, it sounds like. I don't remember if it was the first time you're meeting them or if this was just the first time you're meeting them in this house. But the fact of the matter is that you're probably more likely to want to impress them than her parents, right? And so why was she fishing for like acceptance and whatnot from her parents?
Right. Well, and it may be that she's insecure because her sister is a good cook, and so she's trying to like show up her sister. But like, then she needs to get her butt in the kitchen and learn how to cook herself instead of trying to steal other people's work.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it boils down to. Is that she could have helped you cook this, but she chose not to. She could have been in the kitchen working with you to prepare the meals so that she could have actually had a rightful place to claim partial like aid in all of this.
Right, and if she was like, "Oh yeah, OP and I made this together," like that would be legit at that point. But she's trying to be like, "Huh, he can't tell the difference between homemade and store-bought."
Yeah. So it just seems like OP's girlfriend was really trying to impress people and take credit for this. This isn't the way a team is supposed to act, right? You know, she's taking credit and putting you down as opposed to actually working as a good team member.
And you have nothing to apologize for. Like, she needs to apologize publicly in front of her family for trying to steal credit for your work.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize for telling the truth.
Exactly. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Outrageous Expert 49 says, not the jerk, I mean, geez. She had the perfect opportunity to brag about how lucky she is to be with such a good cook, and she did this instead. She embarrassed herself.
Well, that's a good point, too. I am a mediocre cook. Brian is a fantastic cook, and so anytime he makes food for my family, I never go, oh, haha, Brian could never possibly know how to cook. I'm like, yeah, Brian made this.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of what I was trying to say before. I just didn't say it well. And Obitter Dicta says, it might benefit to ask her why she did this. Some people can come from families and cultures where more traditional gender roles, where OP being the chef du jour, wouldn't be regarded well. I don't know, I still don't think that's a good excuse.
No, it's not.
And Equivalent Secret 26 says, not the jerk. She lied and painted you in an unfair light instead of crediting you for the work that you put in and made a great meal. If she's going to lie about something this small, I'd keep an eye out for what else or will lie about in the future. And Fantastic Bag 4908 says, putting your partner down in front of your family to the point of embarrassing and mocking him and taking all the credit of his hard work screams red flags to me. Everyone I know around me wants their partners to make good impressions in front of their families, but OP's partner is a whole nother case. OP is not the jerk, but talk to your partner about this behavior and ask her if it has anything to do with her culture, family, traditions, etc. Or maybe her family has always mocked her for her cooking skills, so she wanted to paint herself in a better light, not taking away the fact that she definitely should have communicated with you about this before. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Allowing My Parents to Sleep in the Same Bed? I think yet you know where this is going, but there's no definitive answer on who's in the wrong. Also, for simplicity's sake, I'll be saying parents, but it's my mother and stepfather. My mother and stepdad have been together since I was little. So I'm a 25-year-old woman with 2 older siblings, both male. When we were growing up, we were never allowed girlfriends or boyfriends to spend the night, which I thought was fair enough. When my brothers got to be about 16, however, their girlfriends were allowed to spend the nights, but they had to sleep in the spare room. Again, fair. That makes sense to me. I was always somewhat of a tomboy, so as you can imagine, teen boys didn't really show much interest in me romantically, so I didn't get my first boyfriend until I was already 18. My parents wouldn't allow him to spend the night at all, despite us both being over 18. I wouldn't have minded if my brothers had been held to the same standard, but I felt as if they were favored over me. It isn't even because they dislike my boyfriend either. Everyone seemed to love him. That relationship didn't last more than 6 months, so I dropped it after a while. I got with my now fiance when I was 22, and we've been engaged for a year. We were getting married in a few months. Still, just like every time before, my parents wouldn't allow him to spend the nights until a few months after we got engaged, and after I brought it up to them. It wasn't a conflict, but they knew that I was irritated and allowed him to start using the spare room. We moved in together not long after, so it didn't really matter. Now I may be the jerk. My mother asked about the wedding planning, the first time she ever contacted me since the move, and I told her that I still had a lot to sort out, but I was getting through it, and she practically insisted on coming up to me and having a week of mother-daughter bonding time, where she could help me with wedding planning. My fiance isn't a very social person and is happy to be the moneybags behind my wedding decisions. He just likes giving little opinions, and I'm sure to include him when he does. My parents arrived, and we spent the first day going out to dinner. I'd like to point out that the two aren't married and are steadfast that they won't be getting married again. Both of them divorced already, my stepdad twice. So, as the night was going and slowing down, they asked to be shown the room. I directed my mother to one guest room and my stepfather to another. We have a 3-bedroom with no kids yet, so we have the space. My mother said that there was plenty of room in one room for them and instructed my stepdad to come in with her. I explained that just like she told me, it was my house and I didn't want them sharing a bed in my house. I basically repeated word for word what she would tell me when I would complain about my brothers getting better treatment than me when it came to their partner. I told her that actually they were in the same position that I was in, neither of us were married. She tried saying that it was different because they had been together for almost 20 years. I told them that it didn't matter because this is my house and my decision is final. Just like how my mother would shut down any discussions about it back then. I was sure to mention how my brothers were allowed their partners and I wasn't, but she claimed that I was making it up. They stayed the night and left for home the next day, which I preferred because I was happy wedding planning on my own, and I haven't heard from them since. My grandmother has called to tell me off for it, though, so I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong here. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Let this be a learning opportunity, a reflection moment for your mom and stepdad. Now that they're finally feeling like how hurtful it is to be treated differently, like hopefully this, I mean, it sounds like it probably didn't get through to them and they just went and complained to your grandma, but like hopefully they can eventually reflect and see that it was wrong to have different standards for their kids and to treat you differently than your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're well within your rights, and I think this is, like, a very fitting response to their constant treating you as lesser than your brothers or giving you fewer freedoms.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a hard lesson for them, and I'm not sure what good it's going to do or not. It sounds like that they're pretty well steadfast in their ways, and you're getting married now. So I don't know if this is going to change anything, but maybe it does make you feel a little catharsis towards being like, haha, I'm vindicated type of thing. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it works for you. I think that certainly it feels like they got what was coming to them. Just as one of those situations where I don't know that anyone really wins.
Well, I mean, but I think the hope is now that they will eventually, I mean, because initially it's going to hurt, but hopefully in time they'll be able to process and reflect on their actions and apologize to OP for treating her badly. Mm-hmm. You know, because they were invalidating her relationships constantly. And like having their own relationship invalidated because they also weren't married will hopefully help them see that it wasn't fair to treat OP the way they did.
Yeah. So it wasn't fair at all, and I think that was pretty rude of them.
And it sounds like the mom always just shut down the conversations with my house, my rules. And so hopefully my hope is this will be a reflection opportunity for the parents and that they will realize they did something wrong and eventually reach out to OP and apologize. That may be a little too optimistic, but I think that's probably would be the best thing for OP. Like, that's probably in OP's heart of heart what she wants more than anything is just acknowledgement that she was mistreated.
Yeah, and hopefully they can get that. So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And Admirable Ask 5337 says, "You're the jerk. Why are you trying to control your parents' relationship? Being petty about their parenting isn't going to fix anything. If you are so bothered, just go no contact. Them asking you not to sleep with your fiance when at their place would be equally ridiculous, and we've seen such things on here before." And OP replies, "That's exactly what they did to me and my fiance." And VTach101 says, "Depends. Do you care more about being right or about having a relationship with your mom and stepdad, even an imperfect one, knowing that they treated you unfairly on this particular issue? Life is long, act wisely." And OP replies, "Just dealing with what they dealt back then. It's not something that I'll stick to, just this one occasion so they can know how I felt." Well, I think that that's actually an important thing for OP to say, is that this isn't something that's going to happen past this. It just is a sad situation that they're all not getting along. And Ishijaro says, "Maybe they learned their lesson, maybe not. Did they say sorry at any point? Keep your head up, not the jerk." And OP replies, "Nope, hee. I haven't heard from them since." Alright folks, our next letter is titled, "Am I a Jerk?" A 28-year-old male asking my girlfriend, a 27-year-old male, not to do her nightly joke when my parents visit. So, I'm a 28-year-old male and I've been with my girlfriend, a 27-year-old female, typo in the main post, for about 13 months now. We just moved into an apartment together and we live on the West Coast and my parents are on the East Coast. They're coming to stay with us for the weekend in about 3 weeks. We are getting the place settled and tidied and prepping for them to come. This will be their first meeting. My girlfriend does this thing every night when she serves dinner. She tells some sort of little pun or knock-knock joke, and then says, dinner and a joke. And then we eat. She does it for every meal that she makes. Even the meals that I make, she will say, okay, do your dinner and a joke. I guess it's something that her late dad did, and that she really enjoys it. To be quite frank, I'm a little tired of it, but I know it makes her happy, and it's important to her, so I smile and I play along, and I never say anything about it getting old. I asked her the other night if we could pause dinner and a joke when my parents visit. My mom isn't particularly humorous, a PhD chemist, and a medical doctor, and my dad also takes himself extremely seriously, a surgeon. A very, very, very serious people. Note, not all doctors and medical doctors are obviously overly serious, but my parents are. Very critical people in general. I don't think that they're going to enjoy it. I think it will just annoy them. I asked her to stop just for the weekend so we can go back to it later, and she got extremely upset and said that I was being a total jerk and stayed with her mom for an entire 2 days about the whole thing. Am I the jerk here? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I think you're being a bit of a jerk here, OP. This is something that means a lot to her, and it's not like so disruptive that it's going to hopefully offend your parents that deeply. Like, if it's just like a simple pun or a knock-knock joke, that's like 5 seconds out of their day.
I think that this is a cute tradition, and I think that it gives your girlfriend a lot of joy. And if it makes your parents really this annoyed with her, I don't know, like maybe they, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to be this annoyed by it, really, right?
I can't imagine how someone would be that upset by having a little like pun before dinner.
Yeah. I mean, certainly they might take themselves seriously, but I don't know. Do you think that they never laugh at anything ever? I don't know. I mean, everyone can enjoy a good joke, even very serious people. So let me know what you folks think. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And 97-yard long bean says, gonna go with not the jerk here, since your request was based on your parents' personalities. I think in these situations, everyone wants their parents not to be annoyed by their significant other. I can see this coming from a place of care and wanting to spare your girlfriend the awkwardness of dealing with your parents' reaction. And OP replies, I desperately want them to like her. They're already entirely unimpressed with the city that we live in, our educations, our jobs. I just want one thing to go smooth. And this is actually a really terrible situation.
Well, and like maybe, OP, it's time that you stop holding your parents' opinion in such high regard.
Yeah.
Like if they're just really cold, judgmental people, you don't need to make that what you base your life around. Like you can still love your parents. You can still have them in your life, but maybe don't cater or like focus so hard on like impressing them.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Ray, maybe not, says, I think that you're setting yourself up for disappointment here. They already are on a negative streak, no matter how or if your girlfriend does a joke or not. It isn't going to go smooth. It takes a lot to stop chasing approval from hard-to-please parents. From a girlfriend perspective, I also would be not inclined to tone down myself so that you might gain a couple of approval points from your parents. The one whose will never find anything good enough. And OP replies, I'm sure she will never measure up. I've heard already, well, I'm sure she's no Caitlin, which is my lawyer brother's dentist wife. So the teaching assistant, me, and his garden center employee girlfriend, my girlfriend, won't be the favorites anytime soon.
So again, I think you have bigger things to focus on than the dinner joke.
Like, if they're not going to like her, they're not going to like her. And if she tells the joke and they're off-put by it, then that's on them, right? All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she's got a joke.
What is the serial killer's favorite dessert?
Oh, what is the serial killer's favorite dessert? I can tell you, they like cereal for dessert because they killed that cereal.
Well, I mean, that's their main meal is the cereal.
Oh.
But what's their favorite dessert?
Well, I imagine it's more cereal. Like, I imagine, like, they just like to eat cereal a lot. And so they'll eat cereal for breakfast, cereal for lunch, cereal for dinner, and then cereal for dessert.
Not this one.
No?
Ice scream.
Oh, ice cream?
They like to torment other foods too, not
I
just
see.
cereal. But the cereal is kind of the one they're known for.
I see. That makes sense. And I have Earl Grey licorice spice.
Gonna give some people false hope there.
Yes, some very false hope. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Happy Friday, Junior's Eve.
Ah, yes, it is, isn't it?
Folks, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, so we'll turn to our resident moral advice and guidance provider. Amber, can you please provide us a moral? And please have it in the form of a joke.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
OP's parents.
OP's parents who?
Why aren't you all of a sudden a lawyer now with a dentist wife? Why don't you go back to lawyer school and lawyer up? Why are you telling knock-knock jokes?
You're the one who told the knock-knock joke. I'm not. I just answered the door.
You're never gonna measure up to your brother.
Thanks so much for watching. I have a lot to think about, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
And that's not a moral, that's just me being silly. Bye.